This video idea starts on my first day of summer break. After 9 months of constant studying, tests, assignments, presentations, and a final exam that I had spent the whole last year preparing for, I had finally been given a break. I had finally been given time to rest, recoup, recover, live life, break rules, throw parties, I don't know. But I couldn't even enjoy that time. I couldn't even enjoy the break that I deserved, because instead I was thinking about what I had to do next. What is it that I'm forgetting? And how can I make my time more productive? As if my break wasn't only a month long and soon I'd be thrust back into another year of strict schedules where I would wish that I had taken a substantial break. Let's not even talk about the fact that my silly little tasks get me so overwhelmed sometimes that I don't even do them, or I just don't have the drive after slaving myself away for most of the year to do something productive. But somehow I still can't even enjoy not doing anything because I'm too busy making my silly little tasks. It's just a cycle I cannot break. Something I struggle to understand. Why can't I just sit down on my butt all day doing nothing? Trust me, I can do that. It's just that there's always gonna be the voice in the back of my head telling me that I shouldn't be doing that, or like, do something else. But why?
Ever since the day that you went away, you've been sending flowers to me, flowers today, flowers.
Today I'm going to try and understand the average Gen Z. Today I'm going to try to understand the average Gen Z.
I doubt I'd be able to adequately explain everything that results in a human's need to be overproductive, so I just won't try. I'll just present some figures to you and my silly little thoughts, and you can decide what to do with them. So my sole objective for this research was to receive an understanding of how Gen Z view productivity. In what regards, you'll see later. I sent out a questionnaire / online interview to some people and they answered it. Yeah, here's the results.
Just a minute. Dear, I'll never catch him while I'm this small. Why, curious butterflies.
85.8% of people allot between 0 and 7 hours being productive. This includes time outside of the normal school or work schedule, and most are satisfied with themselves completing their work within this timeline. Yet, on the flip side, only one respondent can claim that their mood is not affected by unproductivity. In my own experience, I tend to not take breaks because I feel like a failure. If I'm not able to start and finish the slew of tasks I've given myself in one sitting, that's how I get everything done, and how I'm writing this script right now. I just feel like there's a bit of failure in society if even a fraction of people, especially young people that are expected to be vibrant and hopeful, think so lowly of their work and achievements. But I may be jumping the gun and blaming society when other factors may come into play. 71.4% of the respondents answered that they are either chastised or demeaned by parents or guardians in times of unproductivity. And there's a complete split in the respondents forced to be productive by parents or guardians and ones that aren't. I've had many experiences of being encouraged to wake up earlier just to get a little extra work in, limit my breaks, and more. And maybe that's why I feel so strongly against taking breaks today, when I actually need to. No, I'm not against productivity, and maybe some kids do need encouragement in the right direction. But it's a little frustrating to be working consistently and not being acknowledged, but the minute I take a break and decide to do something, I get told off. It sucks even more to work yourself into the ground for years and be suffering from burnout, but then being told you're slacking off, and putting out your all even in times of extreme demotivation is incapable of being good enough. 57.2% of respondents claim that media affects their level of productivity and their desire to be successful. And I find this part really interesting. Because, like, for me, I want to be rich. Like, rich, like, comfortable rich. Not, I underpaid all the people that work for me rich. So, like, media. Although what I consume isn't necessarily people extremely outside of my non-existent tax bracket, when I do, that's on the basis of music, not personality or possessions. However, I subconsciously want what they have. Not in a jealous or steal way, but more in a, I just want to make sure that one day I can live that way too. Knowing that I could never achieve that on a basic merit, I strive to overwork myself until I reach that claim to fame, and I'm so physically and mentally disturbed by the time I achieve it so that I can't even enjoy it. Ironically so, the overwhelming majority of my respondents believe that hard work is involved in influencer culture. More than 50% believe it is completely hard work that causes success. I don't agree. Obviously, hard work can lead to success and therefore wealth, but I do not think it is an absolute. Example, sweatshops, hardworking teachers, almost every job ever, your literal parents, unless they're rich, of course. But we have people like London Tipton, simply being born rich, although never worked a hard day in their life and probably never will. But my argument is more that hard work isn't always rewarded with success, and more of a ploy in the game of making the already successful more successful than people who are successful or undeserving, although sometimes true. Think, I want to become an entrepreneur because as I climb up the ladder, I have more freedom while allocating all the serious work to the lesser peoples. Within the last few years, there's been a sharp increase in the appeal of entrepreneurial culture, claiming that once you have an idea, literally anyone can succeed, failing to acknowledge the privilege that comes with already being wealthy and having no problem sourcing capital, and already having a platform and having little to no problem establishing a market. Of course, it is possible for you to own your own business if you want to. I'm not trying to crush your dreams. But I feel like a lot of the motivation speakers prey on the money insecurity and convince people to invest in their workshops, to have people coming back and continue paying when it would be more probable for them to do something else. Almost 50% of the respondents gave a hard no on working 9-to-5 jobs, as in tandem with rising entrepreneurial culture, the demonization the demonization of 9 to 5 on somebody else's time is on the rise. But I can understand people turning to do their own thing when they live their whole lives seeing people unhappy and struggling in 9 to 5 jobs, which is just more proof that hard work does not always yield success.
Just a minute. Dear, I'll never catch him while I'm this small. Curious butterflies.
Quote, Ballinger recently had a baby and has been questioning why she can't muster up the mental strength to film videos and do work. She feels lazy, as if caring for a newborn isn't exhausting and actually very much work. It really irked me that these two women are so critical of themselves if they're not being productive, literally producing content or even just cleaning their house. They both work so hard at their jobs as far as I know, so why can't they enjoy time spent not working? Or rather, why do they view that time as being lazy and worthless? We've come to hate ourselves. 57.2% have some degree of hate for themselves for being their version of lazy, even if just for a small amount of time. At least we all haven't been convinced laziness is all bad, but we can't just shake the hatred we hold for ourselves when we don't live up to the perceived acceptable threshold of productivity, as if we're not all floating on a rock with no purpose. Quote, rest and relaxation are optional affordances against the expectation that workers make profitable use of their time. A century ago, Max Weber identified the Protestant ethic driving the spirit of capitalism and the belief that waste of time is the first and, in principle, the deadliest sin. End quote. Quote, if workers can be encouraged to demonstrate their own efficiency, to see this as a badge of honor, this weakens collective demands for more colleagues to share the load. It wasn't always the case that workers sought technological assistances to demonstrate their productivity. It took a series of management innovations to teach individuals that a record of activity could prove their superiority and distinction from peers. End quote. Capitalism in the modern day only works if people are kept poor, in need, and constantly perceived by their ability to impress someone better, richer. That's why I'm against capitalism, by the way. Its goal is to keep rich people rich and poor people poor. People love to think, well, somebody has to be poor, am I right? No, I don't agree with you. Stop trying to get me to agree with you. Anyways, as I mentioned before, our productivity overload is meant to fuel the wheels of capitalism, but this rarely ever benefits the productive and only puts more money into the pockets of the ultra wealthy. Quote, the truth is, in such a career trajectory, your working hours never truly end at the end of the workday. The constant pressure to remain marketable destroys any sense of free time. Like me, many people dedicate their life to productivity out of a desire for a better life by denying the concept of enjoying their present life. There doesn't have to be much to enjoy, but sitting down listening to the sound of gunshots would be better than slaving myself away to the system so much that I can barely hear it. Even though Jamaica, the country I'm from, isn't fully capitalist and instead a mixed economy, I still live and am expected to conform to the capitalist society, seeing as the leading markets in the world are majority or fully capitalist. Quote, a capitalist society values money because that is how you survive. You must trade money for food, lodging, transportation, etc. In order to have money, you must work. Working involves being productive. You must go to work consistently. You must work hard. You must do things. We have come to view work as another way to measure a human being's worth and value. If someone can't or doesn't want to work, they can't be valued because they can't contribute to the capitalist economy that sustains everyone's lives. I believe there are many things wrong with this view of productivity. End quote. So, while the Merriam-Webster dictionary sees productive as yielding results, benefits, or profits, yielding or devoted to the satisfaction of wants or creation of utilities, Gen Z see productivity as constantly producing output, rarely feeling satisfied, having the annoying voice in their heads that taunts them for taking breaks, until they get up again and work themselves to the death. Humans are so quote-unquote stupid that we've conditioned ourselves to believe that hyperproductivity and success is the only things that make us worthy. So I was right. We should blame society, only if you actually agree with me. The foundation of modern society is something no one alive today had a hand in creating. So we are all victims to what I see as a toxic way of life, but many of us have become perpetrators as well. Living for yourself has become villainized because once you are not a functioning member of society, you are worthless. Not to mention the tons of people that are incapable of being functioning members of society. Receiving monetary help from the government has become pitiful, even though serious hospital bills leave many working members of society with a debt they could never repay. What even is the point when it reaches to that point?
Now, I'm not harping on productivity style. I do not hate the concept. I just hate that we've come to see ourselves as nothing without the concept.